Ladies and gentlemen, it is quite late at night. Well, it's like 9:30, give or take. So if you guys are wondering where the heck I've been, especially with all the new runes and the new gear update kind of stuff, my new puppy dog, it's like a 5-month-old puppy now, Yorkshire Terrier, he ate my old microphone, and it's actually been quite a challenge to get a new decent microphone. Like, we ordered another headset, but it was like garbanzo, so eventually my wife got this new headset, so we're going to have to just try it out kind of a thing. I already looked at the audio. The audio is not the worst thing in the world, but you guys might have to turn up your volume a little bit. Current status in the dogs, we got 2 Yorkshire Terriers. One's a 3-month-old puppy, one's a 5-month-old puppy, both. However, one has some parasite issues, like single-celled bacteria, digestive tract issues, and we just found out from the vet today, and we just put him on the medicine today. So if you hear whining or craziness in the background, that's basically what's going on. They're kind of semi-quarantined right now. But anyways, you guys wanted this video made, so we're going to make this video come hell or high water. All right, so first thing to say, there's a few things to say. What the heck is there to say? All right, so let me preface this video. Damn, just about yawning. Holy fudge. Stretching. Oh, like I said, really tired. The dogs have been quite fascinating. All right, what do I want to preface this video with? So, for Paladin and Classic World of Warcraft, I had a list in my brain, basically, of 3 things that if Blizzard gave us any of these 3 things with the new runes, I was going to call it GG's. Paladin is the best 1v1 and likely group fighting class in the entire game. And those 3 things were, in my mind at least, if they gave us some kind of increased healing capability. So specifically, I was thinking of a 2-second Holy Light, like in Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. The other one I was thinking of was another 20% damage reduction, because that would also be that's effectively a healing increase of 25% and a standing HP increase for us, preventing us from getting bursted out of existence purposes by 25%. The 2-second Holy Light cast only increases healing of Holy Light by 25%. However, she's a speed increase, which means she's a compounding increaser, multiplicatively with everything else that's going on with Holy Light. So it's a little bit more powerful than you think it would be. Kind of like the damage reduction would be a little bit more powerful than you think it would be. I'll talk about it more when we get there to the rune. But she also, at 2-second cast, has a lot more tactical flexibility than you would think. Getting out a 2.5-second cast is nowhere near as easy as getting out a 2-second cast. Especially if you're dealing with something like an enhancement shaman who's going to be earth-shocking you. Not enhancement shaman, but shamans in general, they're going to be earth-shocking you every 5 seconds. And they lock your skull for 2 seconds, which means you have 3 seconds to get out your Holy Light, which means if you suffer any kind of pushback while trying to get out that Holy Light whatsoever, basically, you have to go concentration aura when healing versus shamans. It's because any pushback there, the next Earth Shock is going to get you. A 2-second cast, a completely different animal. You can be in whatever aura you want to be in, and still free cast into elemental shamans, which has some significant tactical ability to it. When you start factoring in, our builds are going to be very heavy on fire resistance, and fire damage is close to like 40% of their damage output, if not more right now. 50% of their damage output is now fire damage. So being able to sit in fire resist aura and cast 2-second Holy Lights is actually a really big deal. So anyways, those are the 2 things that were on the list. But the third and final one, which you probably would never guess, was if they give us another range spell cast like Exorcism on a 15-second cooldown or lower. Preferably, actually, no, it was like at a 10-second cooldown or lower. And this was for a number of reasons. In Classic World of Warcraft, Paladins have a few weaknesses. One of them is enemies resetting on us all the time. Basically, that means they like stun us and they run off into Narnia and they drink and they gear swap and they just run around for a while till they're, or just run until their cooldowns are back up, and then they engage on you again. It's really, really bad. Running, bandaging, you know, rogues, re-stealthing, all that bad stuff. It takes 6 seconds of them not taking any actions and them not getting hit with any offensive spells for them to drop combat like that. And we already have Exorcism on a 15-second cooldown. And so I was thinking to myself, okay, well, at what point would we need another spell that we could actually prevent people from resetting on us like this, from kiting on us like this? And the answer is about 10 seconds. If you want to know how to figure that out, so imagine if we had another Exorcism at 10 seconds, right? What you do is you add them together. Yeah, plus 10 seconds equals. And then you divide them by the number of GCDs in effect, basically. So if I divide it by 2, I divide it by the number of spells. So on average, we're pumping out a spell every 12.5 seconds. But then you have to divide it by the number of GCDs as well. So you'd end up dividing it by 2 again. And you could see that we're basically pumping out a spell every 6.25 seconds. At least I think that is how the math works. If I have a spell on 10-second cooldown and I have a spell on a 15-second cooldown, there's going to be a spell coming out of me and hitting the enemy on average every 6.25 seconds. Because again, when they're on GCD, every second, 2 seconds is elapsing, basically, right? As far as their GCDs are concerned. All right, so that's interesting math. Oh, yeah, and there's other ways you can check it. So, for example, let's say we had 2 10-second spells, right? Two 10-second spell cast times. We can automatically tell off the top of our head, okay, we're going to be pumping out a damaging spell every 5 seconds, right? Obviously. But we'd have to figure that out by doing things like, because they might be 2 different numbers. In this case, it's painfully obvious. So we'd add the 2 spells together, then we divide by 2, which equals 10, then we divide it by 2 again, which equals 5. Cool. So the math, for some reason, the math checks out. But that's how you figure out something like that. And lo and behold, Blizzard did give us one of those abilities. So let's go through the runes real fast. That's the first thing I wanted to point out, was I had 3 things on my wish list, and basically Blizzard, in some way, shape, or form, gave me all 3 things on my wish list. The second theme of this video is going to be, everyone is talking about how Holy Shock Paladin might actually be good. It's going to be garbage. It's going to be complete and utter hot garbage, Holy Shock Paladin, believe it or not. What's going on here? The dog's all right? It's going to be hot garbage because Holy Shock in Classic World of Warcraft is terrible. It is so bad that if you reduce the cooldown of this thing for 10 seconds to 10-second cooldown, it might start getting useful. But it's like, I struggle to describe how bad it is. And I've even tested it. We're actually going to show you how bad it is, believe it or not. Like, I'm going to jump on World of Warcraft. I'm going to get on my level 40 Paladin and show you what it looks like. I'm going to get on my level 60 Paladin. I'm going to put 100 spell power on him. I'm going to show you what it looks like. If you just want to know off the top of your head what the math is coming out as, Holy Shock rank 1 on average does 120 damage base, and it has a 43% spell power ratio. It has the same spell power ratio as your Flash of Light. Exorcism, by contrast, at level 40 is going to do 240 damage on average, and then it has a 40% spell power ratio, so even less of a spell power ratio. And then at level 60, which is what this R6 is, her base damage is considerable with Exorcism. Ratio is still a little low, but Holy Shock's base damage at level 60 is like 300, and at the same ratio, it's just terrible. Like, it's absolutely terrible. So the best way to calculate anything is with about 300 spell power, because that's pretty much the most spell power you can get on your gear while using a 2-handed weapon, while still having enough HP to survive most bursts. 200 is a very reasonable, respectable amount of spell power that you can very easily fit into any PvP build in the game. I multiply this by 40%. Okay, cool. Even if I did 43%, we'll say it's 130, so 300 times 0.43 for Holy Shock spell power ratio. Cool. Let's add like it's like 320 base damage at level at level 60. Okay, cool. So at 300 spell power, this damn thing doesn't even do 500 damage. Like, holy balls. Meanwhile, Exorcism will do something stupid. What, 0.4 equals... plus 535 equals. Exorcism will do considerably more damage at 655. And Exorcism's on a 15-second cooldown base, and Exorcism on a 30-second cooldown base. Oh, my bad. Holy Shock's on a 30-second cooldown. It gets worse. Exorcism is a 30-yard range spell. Holy Shock is a 20-yard range spell, which makes it even more terrible. The point is, it doesn't do a lot of damage. I've done the math on the thing at level... well, we'll do it on at level 40 here in a second. But at level 60, it's kind of weird. So, like, let's say you exorcise... we can talk about these runes, but I'm just doing a TLDR here. Okay, so the Holy Grail of Burst for a Holy Shock Paladin is I Exorcism... I use my free Holy Shock critical strike, so then it resets the cooldown of Exorcism. And I think it also resets the cooldown of Holy Shock, so they both come off a cooldown. Then I Exorcism again, and then I Holy Shock again. And then the Holy Grail is that fourth spell cast, that second Holy Shock, that's not an automatic crit, actually does crit. If you build your Paladin with a Holy Shock build, you're going to get like a 40% critical strike chance. So 40% of the time, that a spell will crit. And if it does crit, you get an extra Exorcism spell cast and an extra Holy Shock spell cast. So in other words, you've just blasted them with 3 Exorcisms and 3 Holy Shocks. And like half of that was like critical strikes, practically. The problem with it is when you do the math on that, even at reasonable PvP spell power ratios, it's like 4,500 holy damage, and it took you a whopping 9 seconds of GCD to do 4,500 holy damage to your enemy. All right, well, I got news for you. 4,400 holy damage doesn't kill any class in the entire game. There's a lot of classes it doesn't even tickle, or it barely does any real damage to. I'm thinking like Warrior. And I have to question what the hell was the enemy doing during this entire time. Because if they find a Whipper Root Tuber, if they find a healing potion, if they just like cock an eyebrow at you and cast a Holy Light, or they like, gouge you and they start running, or nade stun you, or they vanish or something, like what the hell exactly is the situation here where the enemy like let you kill them with 9 seconds of GCD lock? Did they have their thumb up their ass? Like what's going on here? So the problem is it just takes too long. What this basically means is that Holy Shock Paladin is going to be amazing in group PvP, but as a 1v1 PvP build, she's probably really going to suffer. Now, there are going to be ways that you can build her to be more of a grinding time on target kind of Paladin, where you're not really looking to burst people out of existence. You're just looking to lean on them with a ton of DPS. And then over time, with massive durability, and then you have this potential burst in your back pocket. That's probably the best way to play a Holy Shock. But if you think they're going to run around and they're going to do like this 20-yard ranged holy wreck bomb type deal, not so much. So anyways, everyone's saying it's amazing, and I'm just like rolling my eyes, and I'm like, Holy Shock is terrible. What the hell are we talking about? All right, let's talk about the runes real fast. This is just the TLDR of this video. Literally, my TLDR is 15 minutes long. Welcome to Pallycast, or Pallytime channel. Lol. Fanaticism rune. Absolutely amazing. She is opportunity costed, however, against the Light's Grace rune. But she's a well-rounded war in a can because she increases holy spell critical strike chances by 18%. It remains to be seen if Judgment of Martyrdom also counts as a holy spell. It also remains to be seen if Seal of Command counts as a holy spell for this purpose. The proc on Seal of Martyrdom counts as a holy spell for this purpose. It even remains to be seen if something as simple as your Judgment counts as a holy spell for this purposes. It probably does. Why? Because Judgment actually has some melee attack coding behind her, which is kind of weird. She procs melee on hit abilities, and she uses melee hit chance, yada, yada, yada. But this thing is very well rounded. It's also super insanely, holy fuck powerful if you have Illumination. Because she will, most PvP gear, you'll have like a 20% spell critical strike chance. This will easily pop that up to like the 40% spell critical strike chance range. Illumination's gonna start to not give a shit. It's just gonna make your healing insanely efficient. This is an extremely good, well-rounded rune. She's not amazing in one direction or the other direction. She's just a well-rounded war in a can. The TLDR on Fanaticism is, if you don't need the bonus healing of Light's Grace or the improved durability of improved Sanctuary Aura, then she is the rune to take in this slot, period, end of story. Also, if she has some weird interactions with certain seals, then she's definitely the rune to take, period, end of story. The only one that's even remotely in competition with her is Light's Grace, because it does greatly improve your Holy Light quality of life. Like, insanely improves your Holy Light quality of life. Like, alarmingly and disturbingly improves your quality of life for Holy Light. This is by far the best defense option that you could possibly take. The only thing that might be better is improved Sanctuary, but that would only be good against melee classes, and you're already a self-healing, holy damage using plate and sword and board wearing Paladin. Moral of the story is we usually don't have issues with physical damage dealing classes. Physical damage dealing classes can also improve, you get the idea. But improved Sanctuary rune, this one right here, is actually pretty disgusting and nasty. Block value in classic World of Warcraft with the what is it? The other rune. Aegis. With the Aegis rune can get up to be about 150, 160. So the reflect damage from that is actually pretty damn substantial. Believe it or not, I think it gets up to about 200. Right. So you end up doing like about 110 or something like that reflect damage. You block like 160, do like 110, 130 reflect damage. I did the math on it. It's actually pretty good and pretty disgusting. What else is there? Light's Grace. Right. So I've talked a little bit about Light's Grace already. She is definitely my go-to rune of choice. If you have if you have the ability to heal yourself in combat as a paladin, and you plan on trying to out heal enemy spellcasts. So, for example, if enemy spellcasters are just laying into you and you plan on spamming Light's Grace until the situation just resolves and fixes itself. Holy Lights until the situation resolves and fixes itself. This is definitely the way to go. As you guys might know, I'm planning on playing a Paladin that has both Reckoning, has Eye for an Eye, and has healing in combat capability. So at level 60, my master plan is to play a Paladin that literally has these runes. 9, 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we put a fifth one in there if I recall correctly. And then we come down here, put 2 in there. I'm going to put 3 in there. I'm going to put 1 here, and probably 4 there, and 2 there. And then we're done. So this is the Paladin that I plan on playing at level 60, personally. You can see that we actually have heal in combat here. We got 56% pushback from Spiritual Focus. With improved Concentration Aura, that'll be 106% spell pushback with a 15% chance to tell interrupts to go and silences to go F themselves, which is awesome. So it can heal. I can heal myself in combat. I have Reckoning and I have Eye for an Eye, and that's the synergy that really makes this work. Because if I don't have some kind of reflect damage against enemy spellcasters, then there's really no point in healing myself in Season of Discovery. It's like, literally, you'll just turn your mana bar into like another 100% HP bar, and then you have to run at them again. But your situation's probably so bad at that point that it's not even worth it. But you start factoring in, you have Eye for an Eye and you have Reckoning. It's actually just lol Keck W just to stand there and heal yourself, because you're actually doing so much reflect damage from Eye for an Eye, and you're storing up an entire Wreck Bomb worth of charges. And you're just like, hold my beer, I'll be right with you in a moment, good sir. And then you go over there, and they're in a very horrible. They can't kill you, and they become in an ever increasing horrible tactical situation. But this requires me to be able to out-heal incoming damage, and I don't have 3 out of 3 Healing Light, which is worth 350-ish plus healing, which is really, really bad. And so I'm like, thank God I get to pick between Fanaticism and Light's Grace to increase my healing capability. Thank fucking God. Wrath, this thing is Consecrated Wrath now, critical strikes, damage, extra. Okay, yeah, we gotta talk about this one. I thought this was the Hammer of Wrath run. All right. Your Consecration damage can now be critical strikes, and damage from Exorcism, Holy Shock, Holy Wrath, and Consecration spells gains additional critical strike chance equal to your melee critical strike chance. Okay. Let me pause the video, and I'm going to pull something up real fast. Do I want this? I'm thinking. No, I'm not going to pause the video. Okay. All right, so big question. Why would you take this over Fanaticism becomes the question mark. Because Fanaticism is going to increase Exorcism, Holy Shock, Holy Wrath, and Consecration, well, not Consecration, critical strike chance by 18%. Most spell power based Paladin builds, and the best possible one that you can make is a 5-set Avengers and then bits and pieces of tier 2. That's the best one you can make in the entire game right now. You could argue that Sheath of Light will increase your spell power. She's not reliable, honestly. You have to hit your target. She might be able to be dispelled off. It's a bad thing to rely on Sheath of Light to help you out here. That builds spell power. She has about 5,800 HP, I do believe. And she has 200, she's about 270 to 300 spell power if you really push it. You could get more spell, but that build also only has, let me think, you'll add like 4, I think. Yeah, I think she has a 15% melee critical strike chance. So it's really weird because you can't actually build a Paladin to make Wrath work in PvP. Like, you can't do it. You're 100% better off taking... Fanaticism's just going to do more for you than Wrath is. So this is kind of like a pure PvE talent, but even there, it doesn't work that way at all. I don't know who the hell wrote this. Because you both want spell power and you want critical strike chance. The hybrid Paladin build, I can probably pull one of them up here real fast. Gear Planner, Paladin. I think it's the human I was messing around with. Let's go here real fast. Pauldrons, Redemption, Lamellar Gloves. Yeah, this is me messing around with some stuff. You can see we're over 6,000 HP, but if I go down to melee crit, they're only at, like non-existent melee crit. Again, if I swap this out for like a 5-piece Avengers, if I literally just go over here and I type in Avengers, Dragonblood's Cape can stay, Avengers, I don't know what we want. We want that to be something else. Pants, I know are Avengers. Boots, I know are Avengers. 5 out of 5 Avengers. Okay, cool. Got 5 out of 5 Avengers. Built to the Grand Crusader can stay. You can see our HP is extraordinarily low. Damn. Marshall's gloves. I gotta get rid of a piece of Avengers. Look at our HP is so low. Why is the HP so low? Why? I have questions. We got no weapon. That's why our HP is so low. Okay, so we want a Might of Minithil. Yeah, I can't make heads or tails of this stupid Would you quit fucking around with me? Like, look what's going on here. Might have Minithil. Okay, cool. Yeah, about 5,800 HP. I can't make heads or tails, honestly, of this rune, because no matter how I build these paladins, talents, do we have? Okay, yeah, that's the proper build. Gear, going back. So you could only get 1% more melee crit. Well, you couldn't even do that, honestly. Where's melee crit? Yeah, okay, our melee crit now is almost 19%. So what the hell are we doing? It's terrible. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, maybe you can get rid now. Marshall's has crit on it. Maybe I get better bracers, but this is like super heavy stamina bracers. It's got intellect on it. This isn't the worst thing in the world. There's no real room here to improve the build from a PvP perspective, from a critical strike or other perspective. And at most you end up with like 20% critical strike. Very, very weird. So I basically avoid that like the plague. I can't make heads or tails of that rune. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe PvE rune. Yeah, it's probably a PvE rune only, because you could be like classic ret. So you have consecration and you have every other talent point you own in the ret tree. And you're literally consecrating and beating the crap out of people, and you've maximized your melee attack. Yeah. Okay, so this is definitely a PvE rune. I can definitely see it as a PvE rune. That was freaking me out for a while. I was like, well, what the balls? I can't make heads or tails of this stupid thing. Like, ah. All right, cool. So that's all the head slots. That's pretty much all I have to say about that light. That here, Light's Grace super takes the cake. I'll show you, because I actually have a Paladin with, what is it? Scrolls of Blinding Light. I'll show you what Scrolls of Blinding Light will do with this interaction, which will be actually interesting. So what Scrolls of Blinding Light does, if you don't know, let's look it up. You won't believe me, so I'll tell you later. Scrolls. So I'll show you later. Scrolls. Come on. Scrolls of Blinding Light. There we go. Paladin only trinket. Energize a Paladin with light, increasing melee attack speed by 25% and spellcasting speed by 33% for 20 seconds. This makes your 2.5 second Holy Lights into a 1.88 second spellcast, and it makes your Flash of Lights like a 1.13 second spellcast. Now, you might think that that's not going to work too well because your GCD is 1.5 seconds, except it adjusts your GCD to match the speed of the spellcast. So your GCD for Flash of Light temporarily becomes 1.13 seconds. It's actually amazing. And I don't know how it's going to interact exactly with the extra minus 0.5 seconds, but if I can be casting Holy Lights every 1.5 seconds, I'm going to be happy. If it wants to cast it at 1.38 seconds, I'm even more happy. If it wants to give me Flash of Lights that are, yeah, it's just disgusting. So I'm just like, all right, Scrolls of Blinding Light might be the way to go. All right, chest runes. So we already know all this stuff. Horn, Seal of Martyrdom, Aegis. Martyrdom seems to be getting buffed. She's going up to 40 yard. What? Seal of Martyrdom. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, she's going from 30% weapon damage to 40% weapon damage. I still don't know if currently she has no spell power ratio behind her, which is a really big problem. That's a problem because Seal of Command has a Seal of Command, if you don't know, with a two-handed weapon, on average has like a 44% proc chance. So this is going to be 40% when Seal of Command is a little bit better at like a 41, 42% chance. However, Seal of Command has a 20% spell power ratio behind it, and it does a bunch of double dipping from the Paladin tree. So, for example, Vengeance, which increases your physical damage by 15% and your holy damage by 15%. Yeah, that thing might as well increase Seal of Command's damage by like 39% or 40% or something stupid like that, because it both increases your weapon damage by 15%, and then when Seal of Command procs, she's a holy damage spell, so she also gets 15% increased physical damage. No idea if Seal of Martyrdom has any of those interactions. The fact she doesn't have spell power behind her is actually quite bad. And she also hurts you, which is a massive negative to this seal. We don't know how it's going to work in Wreck Bombs. It might be the most powerful rune in the entire game for Wreck Bombs if it procs with every single Wreck Bomb. But if it's using the exact same coding as Seal of Command, it might just proc once in a Wreck Bomb, which would be cancerous ass. making it super, super useless practically. However, her judgment is actually pretty spectacular, and it allows you to do a lot of damage, even though it inflicts quite a bit of damage back on you. In most PvP builds, she'll do around about 500-ish damage on the judgment, and she's super mana cost efficiency. It's the mana efficiency of this rune that's actually kind of amazing. Still no word on what Horn of Lordaeron is going to be like, whether she's going to be spectacular or not, with like Blessing of Kings and a 5 out of 5 Divine Strength or whatever, you know, the 20% stat gain basically. Did confirm, however, that Kings does affect Horn of Lordaeron, so that's nice. So does the strength stats. Talents, I mean. A Divine Storm is Divine Storm. She does what she says in the tin, and she is absolutely amazing. Aegis is getting, basically got massively buffed because, you know, Blessing of Sanctuary is now a rune. We're actually going to have enough talent points to be able to do things at level 40. You know, you're going to have, well, you get Consecration and Blessing of Sanctuary at level 41, so it's not that good quite yet. But this combined with things like Redout and Blessing of Sanctuary is actually pretty balls deep. So a lot of interesting runes here with a lot of really good synergy. Let me think. There's two ways. If you were a Holy Shock Paladin, honestly, I would highly suggest, if you're a Holy Shock Paladin, to take Aegis. You're either taking Aegis or Divine Storm, and I highly suggest you actually take Aegis. Just that way you can really make damn sure that melee classes are put in their place when you're going Sword and Board against them. And enemy spellcasters, you might think Divine Storm is the way to go, but enemy spellcasters aren't really going to let you catch them, and you're going to be heal locked the vast majority of time against them. So usually the best thing to do against enemy spellcasters is just to heal, and then out heal them, and then while you're out healing the incoming damage, blast them with your spells for chip damage. And when, obviously, you probably want to be a Shock Eye, so you have 31 points into Holy, and then the 20 points or so, or the remaining points into Retribution. Literally, Shock Eye is this build right here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Back over here, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then the remaining 3 points go into Redout. And because you've only got 3 points into Redout, it's actually highly advised that you take Aegis with this build. Against enemy spell, why? Because Aegis and Redout combined are going to let you do terrible things to enemy melee classes, and then eye for an eye and being heal locked, along with out healing them and doing chip damage back to them with Holy Shock and Exorcism, and maybe the longer range Judgment is the way to go, right? So you turn your healing into offense against spellcasters, and then with Aegis and Redout, you're just saying melee classes get bent. So highly advised, if you're the Holy Shock Paladin, to basically go that route. Yeah, so we'll start out with Light's Grace here, and for the hell of it, I'll just put Aegis here for shits and giggles. All right. Improved Hammer of Wrath, absolutely terrible. Like garbage. Cooldown of Hammer of Wrath is reset each time it damages enemies below 10% health. This is a PvE talent only, and it's cancerous ass. Why is that? Well, Hammer of Wrath causes, it's a 1 second spell cast, right? You have to root yourself in place, then you have to do a 1 second spell cast, and if the enemy is below half-life, then you get to cast the spell again. In theory, you can do auto attacks in between this, so that's kind of nice. But for PvP, this thing is garbanzo, because Hammer of Wrath basically does 15% of enemy life damage to anything in the game, which means everybody dies to Hammer of Wrath below 10% life. It gets even weirder because Hammer of Wrath actually has a 100% damage bonus behind it, and it uses melee crit, as near as I can tell. It's like a holy spell that uses like melee crit. I think she even procs melee on-hit abilities, so she can proc Crusader and shit like that. I'm not joking. Very rare that that's ever applicable, but it can actually happen. She's a very strangely coded spell. But basically it means that if Hammer of Wrath crits, then everybody dies. Hammer of Wrath critting usually crits for like over 1,000 damage. Everybody dies. And it's like, it's just stupid. Everyone gets killed when this thing crits. But being able to chuck it more than once is just dumb. So definitely PvE and not PvP at all. I guess this is the thing you take if you didn't take the Purifying Power. Purifying Power, I need a drink of water. Reduces the cooldown on Exorcism and Holy Wrath by 50%. Okay. And Holy Wrath can now be cast on any target and will stun undead and demons for 2 seconds. Okay. If I recall correctly, Holy Wrath has like a 2-second spell cast. And she's 100% subject to pushback. Holy Wrath. Yes, sir. 1 minute cooldown, 2-second cast, 800 mana. A little over about 550 holy damage, the same as your Exorcism. This thing is garbage. Why is it garbage? Well, it's a pushback issue. So even though it's a holy spell, you suffer 100% pushback. So it's like trying to cast a holy light with no a pushback reduction on it. So it'll take you a million years to cast a spell. Every time you use it, you're always bubbled or bopped, without exception. So, hey, at least I have something to cast while I'm bubbled or bopped. But it also roots you in place for 2 seconds, and the enemy can easily run like 17 yards in 2 seconds. So unless they were physically on top of you, there's a good chance they could just run away from you that level of distance. So this thing might just be a... You're probably just using this thing from a PvP perspective, purely for... Well, it doesn't stun them even. Stun undead and demons for 2 seconds. If it stun players for 2 seconds, I could find a use for it, but since it doesn't, it's just stupid. Reduce the cooldown. Okay, so Holy Wrath at least goes down to 30 seconds. Alright, that's a little bit more reasonable. For AoE farming, that's not bad. Holy Wrath for AoE farming is not bad at all. I could see it being useful there. But again, you have to bubble or you have to bop to use the spell because there's just too much pushback otherwise. So this thing is fucking useless. I don't know who wrote this. Reducing the cooldown on Exorcism is the big one here, however, and that is absolutely insane and massive. If you recall my things about reducing the cooldown on range spells and stuff like that, you'll notice that on my wish list I said if they put another spell in around about 10 seconds, range spell cast in around about 10 seconds, I'd be happy. And I didn't say something like if they reduced the cooldown on Exorcism to be 7.5 seconds, I would be happy. Lol. There's a few reasons for this. One, it just doesn't do enough damage for a lot of things, and more importantly, it lets people get out of combat. But this thing is the obvious choice there. It's like not even a question from a PvP perspective, at least, and from a PvE, I imagine. Beacon of Light, Crusader Strike, meaning that this other rune is fucking garbage. Like, I don't know who wrote this rune. What the fuck are you thinking? Shut the hell up. Get rid of this. Exorcism's just the way to go. Like, fucking hell. Even from a PvE perspective, like a damage perspective, right? Like, I want to do as much damage in boss fights as possible. You wouldn't take the Hammer of Wrath rune. So it's useless in PvP, and it's useless in PvE, and it's just a dead rune. Alright, Beacon of Light. Yeah, we already know what this does. Whatever. Crusader Strike, she's getting buffed to be 5% of your maximum mana, which is actually objectively insane. Super, super powerful. Not much to really say about that. Some builds are going to want Crusader Strike. Some builds aren't going to want Crusader Strike. If you can make your Paladin in PvP that you're not reliant on Crusader Strike, and instead you can take Hand of Reckoning. Hand of Reckoning is very much preferred because she'll increase your standing HP by about 10%. So you have 10% more HP for surviving bursts, which is actually a really, really, really big deal. And for the purposes of out-healing the enemy nonsense until your Eye for an Eye takes effect, until your Judgments take effect, until your Holy Shocks take effect, until your Exorcisms take effect. Like, just out... Because, again, the difference between... like, let's say an enemy spellcaster is casting into me, right? They're casting spell after spell after spell after spell, and all I can do is heal myself, okay? Now, under ideal circumstances, I would like to be able to cast Exorcism on cooldown and then go back to healing myself. Maybe judge damage on the enemy and then go back to healing myself. Holy Shock the enemy and then maybe go back to Holy Lighting and healing myself. The only way that that is even going to happen ever is if my healing outscales their DPS to a significant enough degree that I can afford fucking around with 1.5 seconds worth of GCD to do damage to them anyways. So again, that's why I'm really happy to see the 2-second Holy Light, because I know that means DPS. Believe it or not, I'm really happy taking Hand of Reckoning, because I know Hand of Reckoning is going to mean more standing HP pools, and it's going to mean more damage on the enemy, right? It's going to mean more damage. Doesn't look like it, but it does. Crusader Strike, however, she's a war in a can. Against a lot of enemies that might be mana wars, Crusader Strike is just going to be disgusting. 5% maximum mana, absolutely disgusting. Especially with certain builds that are like really heavy mana focused, but those are also the builds that are usually very heavy healing focused. So Hand of Reckoning is also there. So anyways, moral of the story is, if you have to take Crusader Strike, take it. Hand of Reckoning is better, especially if you're healing in combat. Even for Reckoning Paladins, believe it or not, Hand of Reckoning is significantly better because hit points is king on Paladin. Alright, so we're just going to go Hand of Reckoning there for shits and giggles, because I'm very curious what we're doing here. Enlightened Judgments. Okay, so this was the other one I said was on my wish list, right? I was like, if we get another spell that is 10 seconds or lower that actually does damage at long range, that's on my wish list. And here it is, Enlightened Judgments. Increase the range on your judgment by 30 yards and your spell hit by a whopping 17%. So you end up being hit capped in PvP and in PvE. Okay, congratulations. There's some heavy opportunity cost here, of course. It's opportunity costed against Sheath of Light. It's opportunity costed against Infusion of Light. Infusion of Light is the one you take if you have Holy Shock. It's almost unquestionable. Although if I was a Holy Shock Paladin, I'd probably still take Enlightened Judgments over Infusion of Light. I know, shock horror. Let's just read Infusion. You can't understand Enlightened Judgments without understanding the opportunity cost here. So the power of Enlightened Judgments is so significant in PvP that I greatly hesitate to even explain to you why Enlightened Judgment is the correct choice for almost any PvP Paladin in the entire game here. But the correct answer is not only ranged chip damage on your enemy. This thing does 3 things for you as far as PvP is concerned. The first thing that it does is that it does. Let me try to think here. The first thing that it does is it lets you cast a spell, assuming you have the 8-second cooldown on judgments. It lets you cast a spell basically every 3.9 seconds. Because, again, Exorcism got its cooldown cut in half, and that was the only real option over there. So Exorcism cooldown is now 7.5 seconds, and if you have an 8-second cooldown, we add those together. Then we divide them by 2, because that's the number of spells. Then we divide them by 2 again, because that's the number of GCDs active. And you can see that we're pumping out a spell into our enemy every about 3.9 seconds. And these guys need 6 seconds to get out of combat. So the first, and it's super long range. One is 30 yards, one is 40 yards. This means that one of our huge weaknesses as Paladin of people resetting on us over and over and over again really isn't there anymore. And what's worse is this is actually enough DPS coming out of you at range that's actually going to force the enemy to want to close with you. So you can start playing your Paladin kind of like a pseudo druid, where you're like a highly mobile, really annoying chip damage dealer from long range using instant cast spells. Really, really gross stuff, to be perfectly honest with you. What else do we got going on here? At level 60 with like 300 spell power, this ends up and like the Fanaticism critical strike chance. This stuff ends up being like 170 holy damage DPS, which is kind of gross if you stop and think about it. So that's the first thing it does to you, is people people really struggle to get out of combat with you, which is a massive advantage. They also struggle to close in on you, because they have to close the distance into melee or cast range, and you're just running around like a jackass monkey. So for example, let's take Elemental Shaman for example here, right? So this is the this is the second thing that this thing does for you. So an Elemental Shaman only has one instant cast spell, effectively, other than Purge, damaging spell, and that's their 20-yard range shock. Okay. Well, if they're running at you and you're running away from them and you're blasting them with instant cast spells at the 30-yard range or more, and they can't close the distance to get into Earthshock range with you, then eventually they're just going to have to stop and heal themselves and try to close the distance again. Meaning that it's really problematic for many spellcaster classes at this point to get on top of you while you just keep hammering them with spell damage from range. When they finally do get on top of you, they have chip damage, meaning they've lost like 30% of their HP just to close the distance with you, which is actually really important. It gets dumber, too, because even if they had 30-yard range spells, a lot of their spells are hard cast spells. And if they're trying to if they're casting a 2-second spell at 30 yards, and you're casting instant cast spells at 30 yards, guess who can just back the fuck up during the GCD cooldown timer out of range of the other guy's spells, watch it fail, and then move right back in again and hit them with another 30-yard range spell. Like, fuck. So basically, they have to get even closer than that. They have to get within a pretty ridiculously close range, like 20 yards. They have to get within 20 yards of you before they can even start hard casting spells. Really, really gross stuff. Really, really disgusting. This is also why I would say that I would take Enlightened Judgments over Infusion of Light, because Earthshock also Holy Shock also has a 20-yard range. So rather than me chasing them to be able to Earthshock them, they're chasing me, and when they finally get within the 20-yard range, you start getting pelted with Holy Shocks as well. Extremely pathetic Holy Shocks, but Holy Shocks nonetheless. So, in other words, Enlightened Judgments, honestly, it's just a better version of Holy Shock. And then the third thing this thing does, I'm keeping to myself. Okay? The third thing that Enlightened Judgments does is so fucking powerful for PvP, I'm keeping it to myself. Right? This is Pally time only information. Fuck you all. You can figure out what exactly I'm on about, why I would take Enlightened Judgments, period, end of story. If Enlightened Judgments only did this one thing, and it did nothing else that I just talked about, I would still take Enlightened Judgments. But since it comes with these other two really fascinating, fairly easy to understand things, I'm taking Enlightened Judgments. Yeah. All right, so keeping that information basically to myself. Oh, I'm really tempted to tell you guys what it is because it's so terrifying, but we're just going to leave it at that. Okay, moving on. It solves so many problems for Paladin. It's not even funny. Okay, Infusion of Light. Increase the damage done by your Holy Shock by 20%. Okay, not bad. Holy Shock's pathetic, but we're increasing it by 20%, so be it. 20% bonus to dog shit is still dog shit in my opinion, but whatever. And your damaging critical strikes with Holy Shock reset the cooldowns on Holy Shock and Exorcism and refund cost of Holy Shock. That's not half bad. What's interesting about this is you don't even need Illumination to do that. Maybe Illumination doesn't naturally say it refunds the mana of Holy Shock, which I find weird. Flash of Light, Holy Shock, yeah. So if you don't have Illumination, but for some reason you have Holy Shock, which I'd be rolling my eyes at as to how that's even possible, it'll also refund the mana of Holy Shock. Alright, whatever that means. But yeah, so this is where you get that combo of I exorcism them, then I do my free Holy Shock critical. It resets the cooldown on both of those, and so I do it over again. I hope this Holy Shock crits them. I'm running the Fanaticism rune, therefore I have a 40% chance that this Holy Shock crits them. If that Holy Shock crits, then there's another exorcism, another Holy Shock that I can do. All right. Okay, cool. That's still 6 spells taking 9 seconds to cast, and you had to be within 20 yards of the enemy to Holy Shock them. And it doesn't even do enough damage to kill anybody. My brain is like, what the fuck was the enemy doing while while you were just blowing the crap out of them with all these spells. And again, it only does like 4,500 damage at level 60 against, you know, enemies that are going to have over 6,000 effective HP. It's like, this is stupid. But for group PvP, this thing is going to be absolutely amazing because you can just nuke the crap out of people when you're not healing. Pretty good stuff. Sheath of Light is actually pretty amazing. So I'm not talking much about Infusion of Light because I already kind of covered it, all right? Sheath of Light is actually kind of amazing. I did the math on this on some Discord stuff. I could pull it up real fast, but I'm not going to. The TLDR on Sheath of Light is basically this. If you're in a redemption suit geared up, deep breath, Pally time. Exhale. Whew, all right. Okay. If you are a butt-naked paladin with a two-handed weapon, you have over 400 attack power. If you are a well-geared paladin, so we're talking like Avengers, we're talking like all that other stuff going on, you have about a 700 attack power. Gear, paladin, human. Come on, you can do it. Cool. What's our attack power? Oh, look, it's exactly 700. Okay? So a butt-naked paladin, and I can prove this as well. None. No. Also none. Thank you. Nunsies. Nada. Zippity-doo-dah. Zilchlaw. Go fuck yourself. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, Paladin, you don't have to do this. I'll just take your word for it. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't trust you. Okay, cool. What's our, oh, look. It's over 400. Okay. So the sheer act of just having a two-handed weapon on your Paladin versus like all the gear, the best gear you could possibly put on your Paladin for like PvP is the difference between 400 and 300 attack power. Why is that important? Well, you can start calculating what Sheath of Light does for you for an attack power perspective. 0.3 equals. Okay, so on a butt-naked Paladin, Sheath of Light is going to give you 120 spell power. So that means if you're in an almost full redemption suit, tier 3 Paladin, you're going to have about 500 spell power, attack power, give or take. So it'll increase your spell power by about 130, which is actually quite significant. If we're talking tier 2 builds, they run about 600 attack power on tier 2. So that'll be about 180 bonus healing. And then as we saw, there's multiple 700 attack power builds. So there's 5 out of 5 Avengers has 700 attack power on it and 20% critical strike and 150 weapon DPS. Her problem is she's like 5,850 some or so odd HP. There's the hybrid version of that where it's like 3 pieces of Avengers, and then like bits of random just stat gear Crusaders with like 2 or 3 piece marshals, yada yada yada. You just mix and match a bunch of gear. That thing has 6,000 HP, so you went up like 200 HP. And she also has 700 attack power and 20% critical strike chance. She just has less spell power base. 5 out of 5 Avengers has by far the most spell power base of any Paladin that you're going to possibly get. And then, of course, it has like 700 attack power, which is like 0.3. Basically, Sheath of Light on just about any Paladin that you're going to build is worth somewhere between 120 spell power to a whopping 200-ish spell power on your Paladin. But she has problems. I do not like this rune. Talent calculator. Yes, Paladin. Pretty pleased. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. I don't like this rune. Okay, so why do I not like Sheath of Light? Number 1, I have to hit someone before it activates. Dealing damage with your melee weapon increases your spell power, blah. Okay? I gotta deal weapon damage before this damn thing activates. It only lasts a minute. It might be dispellable for all I know. In addition, your critical healing spells are for 12 seconds. The healing thing is the more interesting thing of this entire scenario, if that makes any sense. Your critical healing spells also heal you for 60% of the amount over 12 seconds. Yeah. So the increased healing is far more interesting. So basically, you're in this weird scenario where it's like the paladins that have the 700 attack power care about the spell power and the plus healing, because they get like 210 spell power and healing out of it, which is a shit ton, right? And also their critical heals also. It's just amazing if you have 700 attack power. But if you're like in a full tier 3 suit with only 400 attack power, this thing is still insane because you mostly care about the increased healing capability. You're like, hell yeah, give me some increased healing capability. That sounds absolutely amazing. And she is a really, really good rune. The problem is you have to hit somebody with it. Now, from a PvE perspective, this is not a problem at all. This thing is going to be active and up 100% of the time. It's absolutely fucking amazing. Take this fucking rune. This is 100% your PvE rune. From a PvP perspective, I have questions about who the fuck is letting you hit them in PvP. I can count the number of classes in the game that's letting you hit them and make use of this crap in the game, and there's not that many of them in the grand scheme of things. A deep ret paladin would really like this because they have repent, and this thing will definitely synergize spectacularly with repent. And deep ret paladins, especially if they have healing in combat, definitely could use the extra 200 or some so odd plus healing on top of the increased healing off of the critical strikes. This is an absolutely amazing rune for a deep ret paladin. For most other paladins, hitting people is hard. And when we hit them, we expect them to fucking die because that's what's going to happen. It's like basically, I'm either running at you and I'm going to hit you and you're going to explode, in which case Sheath of Light did basically nothing. Or I'm going to heal myself like crazy, out-heal your nonsense, do chip damage on you, chase you down, hit you, and you're going to fucking explode. In which case Sheath of Light did nothing, but at least the plus healing stuff did nothing. Meanwhile, Enlightened Judgments is probably just better. Yeah. Or you're a Holy Shock Paladin and you're like, why the fuck don't I just take Infusion of Light or Enlightened Judgments over this Sheath of Light crap? So, the only Paladin I can really think of that's going to make use of Sheath of Light in PvP is Deep Ret Paladin. Every other Paladin, you're better off taking Enlightened Judgments or Infusion of Light. Just straight up, no joke. Maybe you could argue that certain types of Paladins might benefit from the whole Sheath of Light thing. It's just interesting. But I looked into it. It's actually pretty good. She's a good rune. She's just opportunity costed into Oblivion in that slot. All right, not much to say here. They're changing Rebuke. Do not be fooled by what this is saying. They're going to change Rebuke to be a 15-second CD, but it'll interrupt spellcasting for 3 seconds. Please let me take a drink of water here. This video is almost an hour long. That's not bad. I thought we were like an hour and a half or something. Jesus. We'll get there. It being a 15-second cooldown is bad because it means paladins can't chain CC into another rebuke. So at 10-second cooldown and a 2-second interrupt, it was very easy for us paladins, once our Hodge got long enough and stuff like that, for us to shut down your heal. You go for 2 seconds later, you go for another heal. 2 seconds after that, you're almost done with your heal. I Hodge stun you for 2 seconds. You come out of that, you go for another heal. 2 seconds after that, I'm either Hodge stunning you again. My bad. Seal of Justice stunning you again, or I'm Hodge stunning you. You're going to sit there for a Hodge stun for like 6 seconds. Very easy to chain together a 10-second rebuke into another 10-second rebuke. So basically, it's like for the next literal 14 seconds, you can't cast a spell. It's actually even longer than that now that I think about it. It would be something stupid like you took 2 seconds to cast the spell. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. The enemy's taken 2 seconds to try to cast the spell. Then you rebuke them, which it's going to school lock them for 2 seconds. Then they try to cast the spell again, so they spend another 2 seconds trying to cast the spell, and then, oh no, look, we Seal of Justice stunned them for 2 seconds. Okay, that's the Seal of Justice stun, 2 seconds. So now they came out of that. Okay, cool. They're looking to cast the spell again. It's been another 2 seconds. All right, cool, awesome. Is our Rebuke back up? Yes, she is. Okay. So we rebuke them. It's locked for another 2 seconds. Okay, cool. Now they're out of that again. They can start healing again. They go for the heal for another 2 seconds. And then, well, blammo, we hodge stun them for 6 seconds. And oh, look, our rebuke is back up again. Basically, enemy just can't heal forever and ever and ever and ever. That's how it looks at 2 seconds. But at 2 seconds, you can't do something like tell someone to shut the fuck up and then put a holy light into yourself. Right, that's the downside of the 2 second interrupt. So at a 15-second interrupt, what you lose is the ability to chain together multiple rebukes into your enemy. But what you gain is the ability to tell an enemy spellcaster to shut the fuck up and then get a nice big fat juicy holy light into yourself, which is awesome. And if you have Scrolls of Blinding Light, and you were a Giga Chad like I am, and you took what is it? The 2 second Holy Light cast. Don't be surprised if you can tell someone to shut the fuck up for 3 seconds and then put 2 Holy Lights into yourself, which is kind of fucked up. So pros and cons to that one. However, it is 110,000% opportunity costed against Exorcism, because all the other runes are basically pigeonholing you into taking Exorcism. Like, you literally have no rune slot here without taking the Exorcist rune. It's like, what are you going to do? Improved Hammer of Wrath? That's not going to do anything for you. Or PvP. That's purely PvE. And even in PvE, you're better off taking Purifying Power. Okay, so what's the plan? We take Purifying Power, but we don't take the Exorcist rune? Like, what the fuck are we doing with our lives? So basically, it invalidates every other rune in this list because there's no other decent option here. So they really need a +1 rune slot here that makes it viable not to take Purifying Power in the grand scheme of things. Otherwise, you're just forced to take Exorcist, and it kind of sucks. Not very good rune design here, honestly. Okay, we dealt with all that. Exorcist. I would talk more about anything here, but, I mean, Inspiration Exemplar is still doing stuff. Divine Sacrifice, it does its thing. Avenger Shield, we wish we could take it, but unfortunately we have to take fucking Exorcist now. Awesome. This is the last one, right? Crusader Strike, yeah, because it's the last thing to talk about. Guarded by the Light, Sacred Shield, and Art of War. Now, this is probably the most interesting rune choice list that I can think of. There's some serious reason to take every last one of these runes. So obviously the Guarded by the Light rune is supposed to be the PvE one to help keep those damn Brett Paladins topped off on their mana. Not really meant to be used in PvP. However, it's actually spectacular to take in very specific matchups in PvP. So, for example, if you're fighting an enemy shadow damage dealer or fire damage dealer or something, and you're like really heavy into a resist suit, and the only way they possibly kill you is that if you run out of mana and you do so much, you're so survivable that you really don't give a flying fuck. If your Holy Light's healing capability has been reduced by 50%, you just want the increased mana. Yeah, beautiful. This has some serious value with it. The only problem with it is says each time you hit with your melee weapon, this crap happens. And again, real big issues hitting people with your melee weapons. Shadow Priest really comes to mind where you might want something like this because at least they can't mana burn you out of existence, like out of the fight anymore. This thing will just keep you in mana forever. And if you ever need to heal yourself, you can always just do it, even though it's really reduced in effectiveness. Like, what are they going to do? Fear you every 30 seconds? Ooh. Like whoop-de-doo. What the hell is this? Go away. Oh, it's Chris. What's Chris up to? All right, Sacred Shield. Yeah, so that's interesting. She's actually pretty good and pretty interesting. I don't mind her at all. She is a very fascinating one. And, of course, if you can click it off of you when the buff is up whenever you want, then it's just OP as fuck, right? But Blizzard will probably put a kibosh on that. Like, no, you can't just right-click it off your character or make a macro that deletes it immediately when you want to cast a Holy Light. That would be stupid. And like, I'm going to talk a lot about Sacred Shields. So let's talk about Art of War. Art of War, your melee critical strikes reset the cooldown on Holy Shock and Exorcism. What to say about this? That is the most overpowered DPS rune I can possibly think of putting in the entire fucking game. Yeah. Why is this? Well, because they already gave us a 1.3 second speed weapon in the game. A one-hander, 1.3 second speed mace. That thing is going to do so much fucking DPS with Seal of Righteousness at level 60. It's going to be criminally insane. She's literally going to do over 100 SOR damage per hit at 1.3 seconds, which is nuts. That's also a really weird swing speed because Seal of Righteousness does ×2 pushback damage to things. It also does ×2 proc on like oils and stuff like that. But more importantly, the fact that she's a 1.3 second swing speed rather than Flurry Axe's 1.5. Flurry Axe's 1.5 weapon speed base, but she has a a proc that makes her effectively a 1.3 weapon swing timer. The problem with her being 1.5 is that it's possible for enemies to get in 1.5 second spell casts in between your swing timers. Almost never fucking happens, but it's actually possible. And what's even more annoying about Flurry Axe is that, like, let's say your enemy is going for a fear, and you hit them with a Flurry Axe, and you push them back for 1 second, so it has to restart over again. 100% of the time, you're not getting a second hit in with your Flurry Axe. It's not for double push for another pushback. It's not happening. However, with the 1.3 second speed weapon, it's almost guaranteed. It's 100% guaranteed that there's going to be another weapon hit down. And since SOR does ×2 pushback, the first hit from your weapon will push. You don't know how pushback works. The first hit of the weapon pushes back the cast time by 1 second, but it can't go below 0. The second hit pushes it back half of that, so 0.5 seconds on the second hit. SOR, a single hit from an SOR'd weapon, will push a spell back by 1.5 seconds, and then it just keeps halving itself into oblivion. So the next one will be 0.25, and the next one after that will be 0.125, like half of a half of a half of a half. There's no ending to it. It just pushes itself back into oblivion. But basically what this means is that if they're doing a 1.5 second cast and I wait till the near of the end of the cast and I thunk them with the weapon, it's going all the way back to 0. And in that 1.5 second cast time that got reset, I'm going to hit them again. It's going to push them back even more. So this is basically how long their spell is going to take to cast. It's going to take that 1.5 second cast is going to be over 3 seconds of cast time, which is kind of a big deal, believe it or not. But more importantly, if you're swinging a weapon that is 1.3 speeds and all you need is a melee crit to reset the cooldown on your Holy Shock and your Exorcism, dear fucking God, what does our Holy Crit look like in certain gear sets? Well, I already told. What does our spell power look like in certain gear sets? What if I took Sheath of Light? That kind of thing. Well, I'll tell you. The answer is some of them have... yeah, I told you already. Basically, the 700 attack power ones have 20% melee critical strike chance, and the 400-ish spell power attack power ones have like 13% melee crit, depending upon your build. All right. So in theory, if you were taking Art of War, you would take the 700 attack power, 700 attack power, 20% melee critical strike chance, and already you can see that you're going to be blasting the crap out of people. That's like a 5 out of 5 Avengers build, though. And the 5 out of 5 Avengers, if I recall correctly, she has like 270 spell power base, And then if you took Sheath of Light on top of that, which at this point you might as well like double down on what's going on here. You'd have like 480 spell power with 720% melee crit, 150% weapon damage. Not 100%. You do like I don't know how much. I don't know. Probably 100% melee DPS, but your SOR is doing insane things. There's a build here that's a monstrosity. Okay, there's a build using Art of War that is a monstrosity. Okay, but only in melee, and possibly only against enemy melee classes, because you might actually struggle to get into melee against everything else. Art of War is absolutely fucking insane. But then you look at Sacred Shield and you go, why, oh, why, Blizzard, do you do these things to me? Because Sacred Shield is a completely different animal. And she is probably objectively superior to Art of War on even the builds that could best use Art of War, which is kind of fucked up. All right, so let's go with Sacred Shield here. Each time the target takes damage, they gain a Sacred Shield, absorbing 500 damage. This is assuming at level 40, I imagine. So by the time you're level 60, this probably says something stupid like 800, 900, 1,000 absorption damage. And increasing the Paladin's chance to critically hit with Flash of Light by 50% for up to 6 seconds. In addition, causes your Flash of Light to heal targets with Sacred Shield for an additional 100% over 12 seconds. I don't know if Sacred Shield needs to be upped and active in order for this additional effect to happen. Like if it gets popped, does it linger? I didn't play Wrath long enough to know if that's how that works. They also played Shaman. They cannot gain this effect more than once every 6 seconds. Last 30 seconds, the spell cannot be on more than one paladin at a time. This spell does everything and more that I wanted the 20% damage reduction to do. So if you recall correctly, I had a wish list of 3 things that if I said Paladin, if we got these in runes, a Paladin would be broken. The first thing on my wish list was a better Holy Light heal for some way, shape, or form, like preferably a 2-second Holy Light. We literally got a 2-second Holy Light. The other one on the list was another ranged damage dealing spell that would allow me to keep people in combat and do other nasty things I don't really want to talk about. They definitely gave us that with with the reduction in judgments. With the judgment thing and the reduction in cooldown time of exorcism. Thank God, my brain. And then the last one, of course, was that they give us another 20% damage reduction. Because another 20% damage reduction would increase our standing effective HP by like 10% if it was like Argent Defender, which is what they teased us with, right? Fall below 30% life, you take another 20% damage reduction. If they put that in the game, okay, well, that's another 10% standing HP. That's another plus 25% increased effective healing when I get low life if I super need it. That's good stuff, right? Sacred Shield is doing all of that. Right, she's basically doing all of that. She's saying, yo, dog, I'm increasing your HPS per second, and I'm also increasing your standing effective HP. I'm doubly effective if nobody can burst you out of existence within 6 seconds. I increase the effectiveness of your Flash of Light by such an alarming and terrifying degree that even rank 1 Flash of Light in Classic World of Warcraft is going to be maddening for people to try to burn through. So you could be completely out of mana. All you have left to your name is a Sacred Shield and the ability to cast rank 1 Flash of Light with Blessing of Light on you, and people are going to pull their fucking hair out at how hard you are to kill. Especially if you took things like Hand of Reckoning, right, for the increased healing after that. Flash of Light will absolutely not fuck around with Sacred Shield. I've done the math on it multiple times. Nightmare fuel. So if you don't know, rank 1 Flash of Light is like 35 mana. She has the exact same spell power ratio behind her as all the other ranks of mana, Flash of Light, and she heals for 35. It's the fact that she's 35 mana for a flash of light that traditionally heals for about 2/3 as much as your max rank flash of light. She's just insanely mana efficient, 2 mana efficient for classic World of Warcraft practically. But it gets worse because she also increases the flat amount of flash of light is increased by damn it, what is it? Blessing of Light as well. Okay, and max rank Blessing of Light will increase Flash of Light by like 140. So if you were butt naked spamming rank 1 flashes of light and you had Blessing of Light on you at level 60, your rank 1 flashes of light on average would heal for about 215 HP for 35 fucking mana in Classic WoW. That's pretty terrifying. But wait, there's more. Because, like, let's say I'm in, since all the suits with Sheath of Light and all that stuff, whether you took Sheath of Light or not, a Redemption suit with a Might of Minithil, you'll have 450 plus healing. If you swapped over to the plus healing Sword and Board stuff, that's going to go up by, like, something stupid, like at least 200, probably more like 300, I'm not joking. So let's just, for the sake of sanity, say you have 700 plus healing on your Paladin, and all you want to do is use Sacred Shield here and rank 1 Flash of Light yourself until you and die. That's all you want to do, right? Like I got 2% of my mana bar left to my name. There's an enemy spellcaster over there. Fuck life. What does my healing look like? All right, well, I'll show you. Well, it's 40. It's I think it's 41% for Flash of Light spell power ratio. So that's what your plus healing is doing for you. And then, as we saw before, its base healing was 215 with Blessing of Light. So your 35 mana Flash of Light is going to heal for 502. Except Dickhead down here decides that it needs to have a 50% increased critical strike chance, and maybe we took Fanaticism over there for the 18% increased holy critical strike chance. And congratulations, we have something like a 40% critical strike chance. So this thing's going to have like a 90% critical strike chance. When it does crit, however, it only does like, a bonus 50% damage. But, half of 90% is still 45. So let's just increase this by a whopping 45%. Oh, look, my 35 mana rank 1 Flash of Light heals me for 727. Jesus fucking Christ. And in addition, causes your Flash of Light to heal targets with Sacred Shield for an additional 100% over 12 seconds. Okay, cool. So if I divide that by let's get an HPS figure here, right? I'll divide it by 1.5. So we're converting this into healing per second. Okay, cool. So that's 485. We'll remember that for a second. 485 times 3 equals divided by 2 equals 485. I just want to remember what it was actually healing for at 1.5 seconds. 485. So I need to take this and an additional 100% over 12 seconds. So it'll heal. Yeah, I think it's just the crits. Addition, your Flash of Light to heal targets or Sacred Shield. Yeah, I'm not sure how it interacts with the criticals. Like, does the critical override it and then a non-critical won't override the Sacred Shield? Like, I have no idea how the interaction works. But I'm just going to assume that if... whatever, I'll just take the base HPS and we'll just get a damn HPS average. So I need to take this number and then I need to divide it by... What am I doing? I could just taken the 485 number and divided it by 12. 485 divided by 12 because it's going to do that HPS over time, over 12 seconds. So it adds another 40 HPS to it, which is like seemingly nothing. But still, we're like, 485 times... no, go away. Shoo. 485 plus 40 HPS equals... And then we divide it by, times it by, multiply by, add by, divide. This is per second. This is HPS, right. So we're going to multiply it by 3. So that'll give us 3 seconds of healing. We divide it by 2. That gives us 1.5 seconds of healing. This means on average, my Holy Lights heal me for something stupid, like 787 damage every 1.5 seconds of spell casting. And oh, by the way, it's not like Sacred Shield isn't doing like 1,000 absorption damage every 6 seconds. So I guess if we want to, well, it was 5. Again, this is why you have to talk about it in terms of HPS. So 525 HPS. Let's see what Holy Shield would be doing at level 60. Divided by 6, cool, plus 525 equals cool. So I literally have almost 700 HPS, and I literally cannot I'm gaining mana while I'm just standing here casting rank 1 flashes of light. This is why I say this gets dumber if you have stuff like Hand of Reckoning. Because when you fall below 30% life, this is going to suddenly spike up effectively by another 25%. So I got to go times 1.25 to get the true number, which is, I have 864 HPS with rank 1 flashes of light that I can do infinitely using Sacred Shield. What the fuck am I looking at here? So, for 35 mana. Times 3 equals... Oh, wait, I can't do that. No, because the Shaken Shield's doing that. Yeah. So you get the idea. So, I'm looking at Art of War, and I'm like, God damn, that thing is juicy. That thing is gross. That thing is sick. We should take that into combat. Then I look at Sacred Shield, and I'm like, sold! Gimme. Take that shit to the bank. Art of War, what the fuck are you doing here? Get out. Take Sacred Shield. Goddamn. Take Sacred Shield. Goddamn. All right. Moving on. Okay, so that settles the runes, which means I'm going to turn off my VPN. I am going to pull up the actual classic World of Warcraft, and we're actually going to look at this stuff. Because I've been throwing out a lot of numbers, yada, 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 but it's one thing to say numbers, another thing to actually see it in combat, and we'll end the video with that. Because incidentally, I actually do have a level 40 Holy Shock Paladin, and I respect so that we now have a level 60 Holy Shock Paladin, which I'm still dead because Horde. Yeah. Oh, I'm interesting. I can't believe I logged out when I was dead. Whatever. Okay, so talent tree is 31 points into the Holy Tree, and then I've got 20 points into the Retribution tree, so I can pick up Eye for an Eye, and I can mess around with that a little bit. But I wanted to also test Vindication. That's why I put 3 points in there. And I'm wearing exactly 100 spell power on my gear. So the helm plus the boots is 50 spell power. You can see here you got 32 and then 18, so that's 50. And then the Band of Servitude at 23, and then the Field Marshal Plate at 27, so they're 50. So I have exactly 100 spell power. Check to see if we're still recording here. Awesome. And this is level 60 Paladin. And we're going to Holy Shock something. So this is a max rank Holy Shock. Gonna hit this guy. We only have 100 spell power. Let's hit him. Okay, we're not hitting him. Okay, boom. 435 damage. Is that a high roll or a low roll? Holy Shock only has like a 40. It's like a 43% spell power ratio behind it. It's actually really bad. So with 100 spell power, I should be adding 40. So if I saw 55, that would be a high roll. And if I check my combat log, obviously we didn't. So that's a super low roll at 435. But you can see she really sucks. By comparison, let's throw an Exorcism this time. We'll see what we do. All right, so let's do a Holy Shock. Boom. Or not. Okay, well, that's a super low roll, dear God. And then Exorcism is a little bit higher. Exorcism did about right. She has a 40% spell power ratio, and she's about 550 average. So that's about right. This is still pathetic. This is really gross, disturbing, pathetic stuff. Just to prove that I wasn't lying to you about this rank 1 Flash of Light crap really fast. Okay, so now I have no spell power on my character whatsoever. You can see my attack power is almost 400. Again, butt naked, no weapon. The shield's got nothing going on. If you don't recognize Malistar's Defender, I guess I got to pull off the ring. What the hell am I doing? Yeah, come on. What the fuck? Bruh. Okay, thank you. Jesus. What do I want? Rank 1 Flash of Light. Roger that. Is she on my bars? She is. Of course she's on my bars. Who the fuck do you think I am? Of course I have rank 1 Flash of Light on my bars. Okay, no spell power. Max rank. Ah, fuck off, game options. combat. Floating combat text. Thank you very much. Return to game. Fuck you. Alright, rank 1 Flash of Light. Oh boy, 75, 85, 75. Low roll for me so I can prove that I guess she does. Oh, the reason why she's higher than normal is because I actually have the talents. Healing Light. So yeah, this is popped up by 12%. But you can see on average she's like 75, something stupid like that. I guess I forgot to add that into the rank 1 Flash of Light calculations. My bad, my bad. It's actually probably over 900 HPS. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. I forgot to mention that if you have the talents, blah, 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 blah. I was trying to do the math as if you didn't have 3 out of 3 Healing Light. Okay, but let's do Blessing of Light. Right? She says on the tooltip here she's going to increase Flash of Light healing by 115. I thought it was 140, but I guess I was wrong. So we'll do 115, so maybe my math is more correct. And you're going to see that's going to go up almost exactly 115. It's not going to vary either. So 75 plus 115, that should be 100 and... what is that? 190? Yeah, 190. So if you're seeing, well, yeah, 191, you'll never see anything lower than that 191. Maybe a 190 is what you'll see if I stay here forever and keep casting rank 1 Flashes of Light. So that's what Blessing of Light does. Really gross stuff. By the time you put on a bunch of spell power, it gets even worse. So let's actually put on full tier 2 here real fast, if I can find the full tier 2 set. Judgment, Judgment, Judgment. Okay, cool. We're missing like a chest piece Judgment or something. What are we missing here? What the? You're just not putting it on? Fuck you. Judgment Bindings, definitely. We'll put on a Cape of the Trinity for shits and giggles. I'll put on my Band of Servitude ring. It's the Lunar New Year holiday in China here, so late at night, the internet's going to be absolutely garbanzo. Blizzard internet connections hasn't been that bad for me these days, honestly. We'll even put on, to represent like a weapon enchant that has spell power behind it, because I don't actually have any weapons in my inventory that have spell power currently. I've got, actual PvP weapons. Are we good? Ooh, let's put on this ring. That's got spell power on it. What are we going here? Are we good? A neck? Uh-oh. Neck piece. Neckers. Okay. Okay, neck piece on. That is way too close to the N-word. I was like, oh boy. Pretty funny. Okay, so I think my current spell power in this gear has got to be over 350. Like easily we're over 350 spell power in this gear without breaking a sweat. Without even having to check, okay? And let's see what Holy Shock and friends do now. First off, let's do the rank 1 Flashes of Light spam and see what she's doing now. You can see she went up rather considerably from her humble like 190 low rolls or 200 probably average rolls. Now she's gone up closer to 350s, it looks like. 360s, I guess. Okay, cool. But that'll be way, way worse with a bunch of other stuff that you got going on. I don't think this build has the right enchants. This has the right helm enchant, but this is not the right leg enchant. Should be more 25 plus healing. And you should have plus healing weps and all that stuff, and it just gets disgusting really quickly. Let's check out Holy Shock. Okay, Holy Shock. Okay, so we're doing over 500 now. That's not half bad. HP is non-existent, so I would never take this damn thing into PvP ever. Exorcism is... Whoa, where's the button? Exorcism 700, so Exorcism's actually not fucking around anymore. That's probably even a low roll for Exorcism, believe it or not. I'll put Crusader on here just for shits and giggles, and please note that I have the most powerful Crusader that you can possibly have in the game, with the exception of it being talented, but nobody's ever going to do that. Where the fuck is my Seal of Crusader? It's not on my bars anymore? Damn, bruh. Okay, Seal of Crusader... Put it on. Okay, so this is going to be like another 200 spell power, practically. All right, so let's do the Holy Shock. No, that's not what we want. 600 damage on Holy Shock now. Let's do an Exorcism before he fucking dies. Check the combat log. 350. Yeah, not bad. But you can see Holy Shock still kind of sucks. Even with all this spell power, she kind of sucks. Maybe you can get her to work with Sheath of Light, but that's coming at the cost of Infusion. It's just garbage. Like it's legitimately garbage. Whoa. All right, let's log out. He's not going to want to mess with me. Full tier 2? Oh my goodness. I would probably lose if it was a geared person, because this is not the gear. 4,500 HP? No, thank you. Oh, we should check out Judgment really fast. That's the other one I wanted to check out. Not rank 3 Judgment, because Judgments are weird. Seal of Righteousness rank 3 is a very strange boy. So let's do a rank 3 Judgment with all this spell power. Okay, that was 213, I think it was. And now we will do a max rank Judgment, and that was 342. I remember this might have low rolled, so let's do that. I guess there isn't a high roll for rank 3 now, is there? So I turn away from this guy and judge him. Yeah, 215. Okay, this is all normal. Stop. They're not different at all. They basically have the same spell power ratio. One just does way more base damage. I really want to put Crusader on this guy. I really want to do the rank 3 again, and I don't want Crusader to fall off. I guess I should punch him, honestly. Seriously? Okay, yeah, so that's more normal. I'm used to my rank 3s doing closer to whatchamacallit, 300 damage. In my brain, it's like, okay, my rank 3s do 300, and my max ranks do 400. And you can kind of see it right there, but I'm used to putting Crusader Strike on everything, and it's dog. So you can see Seal of Righteousness isn't all that impressive, even with the spell power gear, which is why I'm really leaning towards Seal of Martyrdom if you're going to go the longer range Judgment stuff. Because I have to wear like 350 spell power, and my Judgment only hits for like 350. Like that kind of sucks balls. Meanwhile, if I just run around with a Might of Minithil and like 700 attack power, my SOM Judgment's gonna do 400 damage base, and it'll crit for 800. Like, it'll do double damage on the crit. And I'm just like, oh, maybe I just take Seal of Martyrdom. Like, damn. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to jump onto a level 40 Paladin, because maybe things look different at level 40. Maybe Holy Shock doesn't suck dick at level 40. And we have, lo and behold, we have a 31 talented test Pally here with no spell power whatsoever in heavy stamina Spirt Gear. If you watch the videos, you'll know what's going on here. It's so that our spirit regeneration is objectively insane. Like, watch it tick. Okay, so 25 tick once. Yeah, it ticks for like 50. It's kind of nuts. Okay, so let's see Holy Shocks real fast. It's still 5, right? Okay. So it should be like 215 with no spell power whatsoever. And again, it only has a 40% spell power ratio. So you're not even going to hit. You might be lucky if it hits for 250 in Season of Discovery. Exorcism hits a little bit harder. With spell power, she'll probably hit for like 300 or more. Like easy, like 330, 320, somewhere around there. Because in Season of Mastery, you're going to have like, what is it? 100 and... You're going to have about 200 spell power on your Paladin. Whether you like it or not. Depends on what your gear is, but if you're gearing for spell power, you're going to have about 200 spell power. And so basically you get to increase these numbers by like 80. So Holy Shock might hit for close to 300. If you have the thing that increases it by 20%, it's unclear if that 20% includes the spell power or if it's just the base amount, but she'll definitely hit for closer to like, 350, 360, something like that. Exorcism, she's going to hit for whatever the hell literally the numbers you see on the screen, plus like 80 damage, right? Both these are going to go up like 80 damage. I'm not impressed. All right. Is it going to hurt? Yeah. Is it enough? All right. Well, let me pull out a calculator and find out. Okay. So when I'm in a full spell power gear Paladin, and I've done this on Wowhead already for Season of Discovery, you have something like 2,300 HP, right? So it's safe to assume that most other classes are only going to have about 2,000 HP or a little over 2,000 HP. Okay, maybe they got to have 2,300 HP, same as you, but we'll just assume 2,300 HP for now. These exorcisms are hitting, or these holy lights are hitting for 215 damage. If we add 40 to that, from the spell power. It'd be closer to like 46. You're going to get like 260. I like keeping the numbers nice and round. So that's the base a damage before we increase it by, is it, no? Fuck off, bro. That's not right. What are we talking about? 215 is the base, and that's 40% of 200, you dick fuck. Yeah, and it's not even that, so it's going to be like plus 80, so it'll be like 300. Okay, so your Holy Shock is going to do like 380 damage with 200 spell power at a 43% spell power ratio. All right, 300 base damage. Let's say it goes up by another 20%. Now it does 360 damage. If it crits, it'll do like a 50% damage modifier. Oh, let's just make sure that she's only a 50% critical strike really fast here. And boom, yeah, she's only a 50%. She's not times 2. Roger Dodger. What is there? Do the burst, run away. Oh yeah, we also probably need to look at what rank 5 SOR does for shits and giggles. If I recall correctly, it hits for like 45. What's the weapon speed? 2.8. Oh boy, do I have a slower weapon that I can magically throw on? Because this is not a good test at 2.8. Nope. I guess I can't test the weapon for us. SOR. I have to do it on the max level Paladin. Oh well, whatever. All right, let's go back to the math. Mathers. Boop boop. Okay, cool. So it's 360. And exorcisms. What's an exorcism going to do? What's it say on the tooltip here? She has an average of like 240. Is that what that is? Yeah, it looks like it. All right, 240 plus 80. So she'll hit for 320. So one's doing 360 and the other one is doing 320. I'm going to add those together. I'm going to go 360. And if you recall, our ideal scenario was 6 spellcasts, 3 exorcisms, 3 holy shocks, and half of those are critical striking. Because we know of at least 2 of the holy shocks are critting in order to get that combo. Virtually guaranteed that one of those 3 exorcisms and the remaining holy shock are going to crit. There's 4 spells left in the combo. One of them is going to crit. Let's just assume half of this stuff crits. So I times this by 3, so that's all 6 spells. But I need to... what's half of 380? 150, 140, so 190. Okay. So I'm going to add the first 190. This is the first Holy Shock crit. Then I'm going to add another Holy Shock crit. Then I'm going to add an Exorcism crit, which was 320, so 160. 160. Cool. All right, cool. So we can do enough burst 40% of the time. But you might not have 20% critical strike on your gear at level 40 in Season of Discovery. So it's probably only going to be like 30% of the time this thing happens, probably less, that you can pull off this wombo combo. It will do enough damage, thank God, to actually kill people, theoretically. But again, the problem is that this is 9 seconds of spellcasting into the enemy with them apparently not doing anything. Like, I'm vexated by what the enemy was doing. Like, the rogue didn't do anything to you. He didn't gouge you and vanish, or gouge you and like sprint off to reset the fight. The healers aren't healing themselves. The healers aren't taking any runes that increase their durability. What exactly is happening here that is allowing you to cast 9 seconds of GCD into the enemy? Oh, yeah, I know. I'm making a video. Is that okay? Who the fuck do you think I'm talking to in here? Remember to wash your hands good afterwards. With soap. Oh, women. Alright, so, anyways, this is why I think it's going to be absolutely amazing in group PvP, because you get more than one paladin or more than one damage source together, and this is just death, right? No extra crit damage needed. It's just, wah, and things are going to die. It's a little better if you can do some chip damage on the enemy, but the question then becomes, where exactly is your chip damage coming from? If you take Art of War, you can be like, yeah, I'm going to be a DPS god in melee. But if you don't take if you don't take Sacred Shield, it's questionable if you're even going to survive. It's just problematic. So at level 60, everyone their dog can easily survive this burst. It's only going to do 4,500 ish damage. At level in Season of Discovery, yeah, you might do enough damage to kill someone, but it's just the 9 seconds of GCD that is the nightmare fuel problem here. And you can even say that, oh, you didn't do judgment damage into that. Judgment's not on the GCD, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. But I just don't know what the enemy is doing. Like, name a class in the entire game that dies to this wombo combo as if it was without any chip damage ahead of time. I can't think of any. So in theory, you're far better off going with the 380 plus 190, the critical strike, right? This is your free crit. This is the exorcism that you did before the crit, the 320. Okay. And now you get another Earth Shock and another Exorcism. So let's throw another Exorcism in there. It didn't crit at 320. Okay. But now I'm going to throw another Holy Light, and I'm going to assume, I'm bad, Holy Shock. I'm going to assume that this second Holy Shock does not crit. Okay. So the line ends there, right? Which is going to be the vast majority of your experience. Like 70, 75% of the time. 90, no. We got to add 3880 equals plus another 190 from the critical strike damage. Okay, cool. You're doing about 800 damage to the enemy, but more importantly, you did it in 4 spell casts, which is only 6 seconds of a GCD. Your Hodge stun at level 40 is 5 seconds of stun. This is far more manageable for killing people. Right? Because you can you can Hodge stun them for 5 seconds. You can start blast. Hodge stun only puts you on a 1 second GCD timer. So you have 4 seconds worth of instant cast spells you can blast them with. When you're done with that, you can throw a grenade on them. The grenade will stun them for another 1.5 seconds. And congratulations, you can put another 2 spell casts, instant cast spells into them. You can put some melee attacks into them. That's a decent wreck bomb at that point. You will kill people with that. Like, that's probably the way to go with it, believe it or not. Now, I still have questions because I'm like, okay, well, how many classes in the game do I know of that will sit a 6 second Hodge stun in PvP nicely like this? The answer is Rogue, and that's it. Everyone else has PvP trinkets, so you're going to be waiting a full fucking minute before you get your Hodge off again. Which is, again, why I say it's really good in group PvP, not so much from a one-to-one perspective. It is good burst damage, though. So if you can get chip damage on someone, if you can claw them down to 80% life and then Kamehameha them, that's not bad. But for me as a Paladin, if I see my life getting low and I see your Kamehameha starting, right? Literally, if I see the animation for Infusion of Light, I'm going into Holy Light mode. I'm just going to start healing myself because I know I'm going to easily out-heal this nonsense without breaking a sweat. What are you going to do? Throw a grenade at me and try to stun that? Okay, cool. I PvP trinket that. I just go right back to healing. Like, what are we doing here? If you find a health potion, you're fine. You find a Whipper-Root Tuber or the equivalent, you're fine. In this case, the equivalent would be a Recombobulator trinket because she has 100% spell power ratio behind her. So, for example, if you have 180 spell power, which is about what people are going to be sitting at, in this gear, Recombobulator, Minor Recombobulator currently heals you for about 200 on average. It gives you 200 mana back, but at this level, she'll heal you for like 380. That's like one of your Holy Shocks being completely canceled by the enemy trinket, so they're going to survive from that. If they have additional heals going off, so if they have hots on themselves or they have bubbles on themselves. So again, I have questions about what class is getting killed here exactly. You think you're killing a priest with this fucking thing? The priest is going to have power word fortitude. They have penance that they can do whenever the hell they want to, and they probably have a renew on them. Yeah, good luck. Are you going to kill a shaman with this? Well, they have like Earth Shield and like a plus 30% increased standing HP and a 10% damage reduction and a 6% reduction to being critically struck and a bunch of other crap, right? So good luck crunching that mana bar or that health bar with all that crap going on. A paladin who decided I'm going to take, what is it? The light one. Sacred Shield. Decided he's going to take Sacred Shield, could literally AFK and survive this nonsense pretty much no problem. Like, because again, it's going to take 9 seconds, right? So you're going to have to blast through the existing shield. Then 6 seconds later, you got to go through another like 500 HP shield. He's literally sitting there with like his thumb up his butt, like doing absolutely nothing. Like what are we doing here? Right. I completely forgot that I wanted to show Scrolls of Blinding Light. So I'll do that real fast. I'll end the video since my voice is going. Holiday, celebrate, celebrate good times. Get the hell off the road. No, we're not on the road. Scrolls of Blinding Light. Damn, my voice is really going. All right, where, oh, for art thou, Flash of Light? So these are max rank flashes of light. Good to go. Holy Light on middle bar. Roger that. Okay, let's check it out. So Flash of Light cooldown, 1.5 seconds. Holy Light cooldown is 2.5 seconds. And we're about to activate Scrolls of Blinding Light. Watch me cast Flash of Light, and it never even triggers the GCD. And you'll see that it's a 1.13 second spellcast. My Holy Lights are 1.88 second spellcasts right now. Did you spam it? Fucking lag, piece of shit. What are we doing here? Thanks for screwing that up. But anyways, 1.8 seconds. But the real interesting thing here is that the Flash of Light can now be cast every 1.3 seconds, and it makes the GCD for it 1.3 seconds. Very fascinating stuff. Very, very interesting trinket. Probably one of your better defense trinkets in the entire game. She's also a decent offensive trinket, obviously, because she increases attack speed. Pretty interesting stuff. Don't know how she's going to interact with Holy Light, being minus 0.5 seconds. Will the GCD become a problem, or will it not be a problem? Whether it's a problem or not really doesn't matter, because Scrolls of Blinding Light and Flash of Light are kind of terrifying. The other interesting thing about it from a PvP perspective is Scrolls of Blinding Light is notorious for breaking add-ons. So a lot of people have add-ons that they'll put a cast bar timer up for them. You should not do this. What you should do is you should go into options, and you should go into combat, and you should go show target damage, no, show healing, show pet damage, show enemy energy gains. No, it's not in combat, is it? No, it's not, which is really weird. Is it in key bindings? Is it in interface, audio, graphics? Is it in graphics? There's something around here that actually allows you to show cast bars. Instant, automatic, show enemy cast bars. This thing right here. Okay, so it's in interface, show enemy cast bars. Turn this on. You don't need the add-on anymore. This might actually make it so that you can see the enemy Flash of Light casts. But historically, people have add-ons to see, a lot of people don't know about this, but historically people have add-ons so they can see the enemy cast bars. And Scrolls of Blinding Light basically break that because it doesn't account for that. The game just, the add-on basically goes, oh, Flash of Light, okay, or Holy Light, okay, you have 2.5 seconds to interrupt it, except it's on 1.88 seconds, so it goes off before the interrupt, and they're like, what the fuck? So yeah, good stuff. Anyways, my voice is gone. End of video here, and day is full, boys.